YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. And there's another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Friday, January 31st, last day of the month, and we have a 7-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like the most, and I have 2 highlighted selections for today. I do this every day for free, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite games in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we went 0-1 on our highlighted play of the day. We took the Utah Jazz plus 7 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I got slaughtered last night, guys. I thought once the Wizards got blown out by the Lakers that it was a lock that the Jazz were going to cover. I threw a pretty penny on this game, and the book slaughtered me. Hey, the 4 out of the 5 favorites won yesterday in blowout fashion. And that's not going to happen every night. It's going to take more than that to get me off these dogs. Make sure you guys are managing your units because I want you to have bankrolls when we go on heaters. I'm not going to win every game. We will have cold days, and that's the toughest part about this game is weathering through losses and getting to those wins. We're still 29-17 ATS on all highlighted plays, but let's go get number 30 today. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup, we have the Dallas Mavericks in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are laying 1 point, and the total is 230. We know the Mavs are the far more talented team, but injuries are still weighing on them. So Luka is still out, and then here they'll be without Derek Lively, Dante Exum, Maxi Kleber, and Dwight Powell. The Pistons come into this game with no new additions to their IR. Jaden Ivey is done for the season, of course, though. With the current state of the Mavs lineup, I do believe this will be a competitive game, but the issue for me is Detroit as home favorites. Pistons are just 2-6 against the spread when they're laying points at home. I know this is a pick'em where they're not really laying points, but it shows me when the Pistons are expected to win games, they typically don't. In a close game, I trust a player like Kyrie Irving to be able to close it out, so I'll rather have the Mavericks if this is going to come down to a 1-point game. We're taking the Dallas Mavericks on the money line as our first selection of today. Let's move. In our next meeting, we have the LA Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Clippers are laying 13.5, and the total is 212. Clippers have been hoping. Since the return of Kawhi, they're now 7-3 in their last 10. They beat the Spurs comfortably in their last match, and the Spurs were playing well themselves, so that was impressive to see. The Hornets have their most important pieces sitting in this game due to injury. We know Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball are out, but now in this one, they're without Mark Williams. That's huge. With the current squads going in this game, the Clippers, in my opinion, have the advantage in their starting lineups and in their bench. Basically, at every position, the Clippers have an advantage. There's no need to overcomplicate this one. We're taking the Clippers, laying the 13.5 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Toronto taking on the Toronto Raptors. Raptors are laying 4 points, and the total is 233. Raptors have been hooping. They've been playing real good. They had some key pieces return recently, such as Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett, and they've been looking good ever since. Looking at the injury reports for this game, Grady Dick, Jamal Sheed, Kelly Olynyk, and Emmanuel Quickley are all questionable here. It would be nice to see Emmanuel Quickley go. I haven't seen him questionable in a while, so he may go in this game. The Bulls are without Torrey Craig and Zach LaVine. We know Zach LaVine is the main piece for the Bulls, so that's big for them. Like I said, the Raptors have been hoping when healthy, and they're back at that stage. With the Bulls banged up and this game being back at home in Canada, I think the Raptors get the job done. We're taking the Raptors laying the 4 points as our first highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Denver Nuggets in Philadelphia taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Nuggets are laying 9 points, and the total is 233. Does Joel Embiid even play anymore? I saw the stat going around yesterday that in his career, he's played 446 games and he's missed 400. Embiid's gotten paid over $125 million while sitting on the bench. Say what you want, but hey, I'd take that job. Sixers in this game are without Paul George, Andre Drummond, Caleb Martin and KJ Martin. Obviously, Embiid is sitting as well. The Nuggets come into this game with a clean injury report. The Sixers have been playing decently. They've won their last 4 games in a row, but I think that ends here. Like I told you guys a few days ago, we've come to the point in the season where the good teams are starting to lock in for playoff seeding. The Nuggets are the far superior team here, and fully healthy, I could see them winning this game by 20 plus. We're taking the Nuggets laying the 9 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Boston Celtics in New Orleans taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Celtics are laying 11 points, and the total is 232.5. Looking at the injury reports for this game, so for the Pelicans, Jordan Hawkins is questionable, and DeJounte Murray is probable. For the Celtics, Al Horford is probable, but Sam Hauser is questionable. And it does make a difference if Hauser goes, because he's been lethal from three-point range. The Celtics are coming off a blowout win against the Bulls in their last meeting, and I think that makes them a little overvalued in this game. In the last meeting between the Celtics and the Pelicans, that game was in Boston, and the Celtics only won 120-119, a 1-point game. We were on the Pelicans getting the points in that spot too. This game is in New Orleans, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans return the favor here. 11 is too much to lay with the Celtics for me in this spot, so we're taking the Pelicans plus 11 points as our next selection of today. And don't be surprised if they win this game on the money line. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Milwaukee Bucks in San Antonio taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Bucks are laying 3 points, and the total is 234. Earlier in the season, Wemby led the Spurs to an upset statement win against the Denver Nuggets. We were on the Spurs in that one, and I let you know, Giannis is the next big that Wemby wants to get a head-to-head win over. Wemby is on his way to becoming the GOAT. But to become the GOAT, you have to take out the other GOATs along your way. Giannis is next in line. Even though the Spurs lost their last game against the Clippers, the Spurs looked good for about 40 minutes in that game, and Wemby didn't even play exceptionally well. Looking at the injury reports for this game, Bobby Portis and AJ Green are both out, and then Giannis and Chris Middleton are probable for the Bucks. On the Spurs side, they have no new additions to their injury report. The Bucks have been hooping though. They're 7-3 in their last 10. But that being said, even playing well recently, they're only 5-7 against the spread as road favorites this season. So you're not profitable betting on Milwaukee when they're laying points on the road. Wemby presents one of the only defensive solutions in the league to stopping Giannis, and with how well the Spurs supporting cast has played recently, I think they have a chance to win this game outright. We're taking the Spurs plus 3 points and splitting on the money line as our second highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Phoenix Suns in Golden State taking on the Golden State Warriors. Suns are laying 2 points and the total is 229. KD's back in Golden State. Head to head, Curry versus KD. This is going to be a fun one to watch. I'll definitely be tuned in. The Suns come into this game healthy, while the Warriors are still without Jonathan Kuminga and Draymond Green. This is a pretty evenly matched game in my opinion. The Suns are the more talented squad, but they're so inconsistent that it's hard for me to back them in most nights. Road favorites is the only spot this season where the Suns are profitable. They are 6-5 against the spread. Not up much, but they have won against the spread more times than they've lost in this spot. Golden State is just 4-4 ATS as home underdogs, so they haven't been anything special in this spot either. For me, I see 2 motivation spots for the Suns here. KD's back in Golden State, reminding them he's the top dog, he's the finals MVP over Steph. The second is Devin Booker getting that all-star snub. He gonna come in here and show the league, hey, you guys made a mistake. I could shoot the 3 ball, I could hoop. We'll get behind the Suns' money line. It's only minus 120, so no point to lay the 2 points here. It's not my favorite game on the board, more one I'll be watching, but we'll take the Suns' money line as our last and final selection of today. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I wanted to let you know I'm going to have a couple small changes coming next month in February. For one, we'll have just one highlighted play of the day. I've been told that it's a little confusing having different amounts of them on different days, which one you guys should go with, or if you should go with all of them. So I'm going to simplify it for you. We're going to have one single highlighted play of the day every day. Also, we'll have a new monthly record starting in February. So each month, I'm going to have a highlighted record. And of course, we'll keep the overall record for the end of the season. But I want to start new streaks, run it up from the beginning each month. So we're going to reset 0 and 0 on our highlighted plays tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for the support and tuning in. I'm going to be here every day for free. So make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo. And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.